What's going on, YouTube, and welcome to the channel. If this is your first time swinging by the channel, here are my two vehicles. I've got a 2015 Charger RT Road and Track with a Super Track Pack, and I've got a 2016 Hellcat. So today we're going to do a couple mods on the Hellcat. These are ground effects mods. I've got two different sets. I've got some rear fender side skirts from Ikon Motorsports. These basically mount along the back edge like this. So they mount like that. They're made to integrate with the diffuser in the back that I also got from Ikon Motorsports. So that's one thing. Now the next thing I got is a universal side skirt installation kit. Now these side skirts go in between the wheels on the side, and this is a universal kit, which means that it really can fit any car. I was a little concerned about this just because I want to make sure there's a good fit on this generation Charger, but I saw a friend of mine who had this kit installed on his Charger and it fit absolutely perfectly. So that pretty much made me go and make the purchase. So in the kit they give you some adhesive two-sided mounting tape. They give you some instructions and a bunch of screws and washers. And then on each side you have three pieces that slide together and can optionally be cut to fit. Now, I did not want to cut these things. I don't like the way plastic looks when it's cut. Again, after seeing it installed on my buddy's, where he said it was just a perfect fit and didn't have to do any cutting, I agreed to go ahead and do it. Now, my car sits really low, so to do this install, I'm going to have to use a jack to jack up one side, do the installation, and then do the same on the other side. So we're going to give this a shot, see how it looks. And I will include links to both of these products in the description. Okay, so I got the side of the car jacked up. Doing the right side first. And I'm going to do the rear fender skirts first, because they're going to be the easiest. So I got that one on, but before I put this one on, I just want to show you. You want to make sure that these are flat. You don't want them up too far or down too far. They really are made, they're made to hug the edge of the fender very nicely. So you can definitely feel when it's in there in the right position. The other thing is that you don't want it too far forward or too far back, because if you have mud flaps of any sort, you really want them to line up right with the edge of the skirt there. So that's the first thing. Now the next thing is that I didn't feel they gave me enough screws, so I used some extra screws on this. And first thing I did was I lined it up. I drilled a hole with a bit that's slightly smaller than the screw width, and I actually put in 5 screws and I staggered them. Okay, and it's in there pretty good. The other thing you got to be careful of, you don't want to over tighten these screws, because you'll just end up stripping the plastic. So really pretty easy installation. I would recommend that you put some extra screws in, but other than that it was pretty straightforward. Alright, now one other thing, you really want to make sure it's clean under here. Alright, I haven't cleaned this side yet. I did on the other side before I put it on, but you know, try to get as much of that material off as you can, because you want the thing to have a nice snug fit and not scrape your paint too much. Same thing with the side skirts. You got to make sure that that's pretty clean under there, especially when you're using the two-sided adhesive they give you to initially get it up there mounted. Got to have that stuff clean if you're going to use two-sided adhesive. Okay, so here's what the side skirt looks like. It comes in 3 different pieces. Now this is actually for the other side of the car. It's for the right side, but you can see how there's 3 different pieces. It has a flare in the back that goes towards the back wheel, which I like. and in the front it's just flared out a little bit. Now the way this works is that if you turn this over like this, alright, there's small screws. They give you these screws that go into this setting, and that's kind of how it's adjusted. With it as tight as you can go, you know, I'll put two screws there, and on this one, 2 screws, or 4 screws, I'm sorry, 4 screws there. Now all these other holes in the middle are if you need to cut this to shorten it. That's why they have holes all the way through here, because if you have a much shorter car, then you're going to cut this piece and you'll move those edges in. So I'm just going to start with the widest position because that's what my buddy said works for 2015 and later Chargers, and then I'm going to hold it up and just see how it looks, and before I do any drilling or anything like that. Okay, so here it is with the screws on the underside. So they give you 2 different sets of screws. These actually are for mounting on the car, and these are for putting the different pieces together. I would strongly recommend that you hand tighten these. You do not want to strip these. You don't want to strip the plastic. So hand tighten them. Don't even really tighten them that much until you get it up next to the car and see how it looks. And then from the top, it looks like that. Okay, so let's go put it on the other side and see what it looks like. So I got this thing pretty much just propped up there now just to make sure it's lined up right. And I'll be damned if it's not a perfect fit. You see that edge is right there. It's pretty much right on the edge. Same thing on the front. It goes right to the edge without any cutting. So you gotta love that. Now I'm going to go ahead and get this mounted. Alright, so now that we know it fits, we're going to start with the mounting. First thing you're going to do is put this mounting tape on. And really all that is it's not meant to really hold it on there, it's just holds it enough so that you can put the screws in. Before you put the tape on, I recommend that you just clean that off with alcohol, just to get rid of any oils or anything that are on there. It has one-sided tape, so the bottom is sticky, and then you're just going to pull this off when you're ready to mount it. Pull the top edge off when you're ready to mount it. Now, as far as positioning it on the car, see how the car has these cutouts all the way up? Basically, you're going to put the inner edge of the skirt so that it lines up right with the outer edge of that cutout. You're going to do that all the way up the factory side skirt there. And that way you know that it's going to be straight, because it's just going to line up with those cutouts. Alright, so it does help here if you have another person to help you with this. You can try to locate a friend and see if they can help you, but the only friends I have are furry with 4 legs, and they're not much use here. So I'm going to have to do this myself. So I got them propped up. I'm going to start on the back edge here and start peeling this off and then pushing it up. And all the while I'm going to be reaching with my fingers. The inner edge is going to go to the outer edge of that cutout. Alright, so here I'm pulling the tape out as I go forward, and I'm looking for the edge of that cutout as I move forward. And then I pull the tape out to get it to line up. Okay, so I got it mounted in there now with the adhesive. Lined it up with each of the cutouts. And now I'm just gonna drill the holes in. And again, like I did with the back skirts, I'm going to pre-drill with a bit that's slightly smaller than the screw width, and then put the screws in. Okay, so I got the screws in. I pretty much put them about every foot on the inside edge where the adhesive is, all the way down. The only place I doubled up was in the front here. I put 2 up in the front just because, you know, that's where most of the wind force is going to come from, and that's where most of the wobbling is going to occur. So other than that, I just went every foot, and I'm going to put 2 in the back here also, because you can see that that's a little wobbly. So I'll put 2 in there, that'll tighten that up, and that'll be it. Alright, there it is. Finished product. Got the full ground package now. The tails. Now, one thing I did that's a little bit different is I just put a piece of tape, electrical tape, over those slots right there, so they're not quite as noticeable. Other than that, wasn't a bad install. A little time consuming, but not too bad. Again, I'll put the links to this stuff in the description. But nice thing about these universal side skirts is that they are about 59 bucks for both sides, whereas you try to get some of them from somebody who's selling them specifically for Mopars, they're about 200 bucks, and all it is a piece of cut plastic. You're getting about a 500% markup on that. Thanks for watching, and if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel. A lot of people watch the videos that aren't subscribed, and it would really help if you would just hit that subscribe button. It doesn't take much. But thanks again. Bye-bye.